Stop healing and start living. For those sincerely seeking awakening, for those who have passed a kind of critical point, who have cleaned their awareness to such an extent that their spiritual inclination is turning now towards possibility, potential, and not keeping them trapped further and further in denial. This is what has worked for me. Won't work for everybody. Well, there's not a thing to work. It's an invitation to become more and more conscious of your own sovereignty. And that is absolutely unique for every single person. But on a more general scale, just in the way that I was effectively pointed to turn that particular corner away from denial and using my attempts to heal as a way to avoid suffering, when I'd come to the point of realizing that that was just fruitless and just created more and more suffering, then there's a certain kind of psychological complex that might find this a useful pointing. For some people, healing may still be their path of greatest liberation. But here it needed to be gone through, taken to its logical conclusion, and then dropped. And the dropping is kind of like, there is a certain point where the lies that I was telling myself were dropped enough to allow more and more to be dropped. So it's kind of both a moment, call it the awakening, where you see that you're doing it all to yourself. Doesn't mean you see it forever. The mind will come back and hook you in, of course, and that's fine. But there's a point where it's seen enough that you can start to unravel. In fact, you can get out of the way and start to allow it to unravel and develop your own conviction in that. Because healing is a process you're trying to control. The big trap of healing is that the mind thinks it knows what needs to be healed, and it doesn't. And often a spiritual search has been a turning away from life. That's what was the case here. Due to my own conditioning and trauma, I just couldn't face life. There was too much trauma, too much belief in a story of limitation, too much lack belief. Too much attachment to suffering. So the solution to that for me was to finally come to the point of what I believed was beyond the point of no return. I'd been in that for years. doomed. I don't know, just to finally, somehow, not even on a conscious level, like I'm just done. This doesn't work. It's not bringing me anything. Not because it didn't have value or wasn't part of my journey, but it was done. And the time had come to stop believing my own bullshit. And that came from having enough conviction to start living again. And believe me, it's not a done deal. Stop healing and start living is absolutely not a promise of no more suffering. In my offering that as my contribution, my collaboration with my clients. There is still suffering. Just the last 2 or 3 days, I've been really feeling stuck in a real trap of mind. A real belief in the unique, absolute hopelessness of my own predicament. But the difference is that what I identified with it is just this sense of, you could call it depression, and this sense of panic. I've heard it many times, people saying waking up in the night in a cold sweat and just in this kind of full-on panic for no reason. It's kind of like madness. Now that, in the last 25 years, that at one point nearly brought me to suicide. Now, with more conviction and confidence and consciousness, although it still feels horrible, I see it. Like, this is the old panic. And you can't necessarily command it to go away straight away, but actually when you do see it, it lessens very quickly. And then maybe, like I did, go through old habits of self-justification. Old habits of shaming. I'm a narcissist, I'm a fraud. I'm so hopelessly protected against receiving life. Because I was so traumatized, and I still am so traumatized. But even though it can feel as if this never ends, it's just not got the same power as it had before. And there's no shame in it either. It's just, okay, here we are again. At the most basic level, it's just contraction. So it can be allowed to go. And release enough for me to be able to do this video. Just some kind of relaxation in the mind has occurred. And again, it was the not fixing it to the very best of my ability that allowed this contraction just to release, to acknowledge that it was nothing but just a ridiculous excursion into the mind of insanity, you know, and everything is fine. So that's kind of, I don't know whether that's explained a little bit, but it kind of helps me just to be really clear about what value I can offer to people, is that I'm going through my own process still. But I have kind of turned that corner where what before was just hopelessly, eternally my story, right? It was just one of doom, being cursed. Being uniquely screwed. And in one sense that's true, because everybody is uniquely in their own path, and to the extent of their limitation, that's their being uniquely screwed. Interestingly, screwed, that's exactly what it is. The mind screwing itself up into a ball. And having been over so many years, I took that to its, short of actually ending my own life, I took that as far as it could go. To just the most stagnant psychological suffering. More fuel to the idea of healing myself. So the stop healing and start living isn't to say that healing doesn't have value, or that there may be some kind of healing that's needed. It's just giving up the burden of doing it. It does itself. And this is the part of the awakening, part of the expanded lens that I have come to see things from. In another level, you can say it's before where I got stuck so diabolically and hideously in my own mind, in this loop, total depression. Now I have a stronger nervous system. And that's the value of having a mentor like me, or like my own mentor, who showed me so many things. Or, let's say, provided the expanded nervous system environment in which I could take more risks, open to life a little bit more. Someone who said, I have this expanded nervous system. In one sense, your liberation is extremely practical. You can give up the pride of believing that you are uniquely suffering and are some specially selected piece of shit, right? It's actually a lot more ordinary and easy than that. On one level, it's just the trust that you can accommodate more and more, open to life and experience it. One life. Nothing more complicated than that. No spiritual contortions. So I was shown that, and while I've still had moments of suffering, they're now seen in a different light. Not necessarily at the time, but yeah, at the time as well. There's just a kind of, this is what faith is really. It's a knowing that somehow you come out the other side. And it's a perfect expression of having more and more faith that the darkness is always followed by the light. In my case, before I had the nervous system to accommodate this, and had the humility to start to recognize my own responsibility for creating the suffering, all the darkness just kept leading to more darkness. But now, the darkness itself is the healing. So in my case, the challenge now is, which is also about dropping the suspicion that I'm somehow complacent in this, but it's to appreciate, or to be aware of the appreciation. It's not something you do, it's a higher level of consciousness, gratitude. But appreciation that it's okay. It's more than okay. And more I can see the madness of my mind. So the invitation is to take action, choose what I want for my life with confidence and humility, and not stay stuck in, no, not stuck, but not spend too long analysing and overthinking what just happened. Nothing just happened. I took an excursion into mind. Felt the contraction. To some degree allowed myself to be okay with not enjoying it. It's not fun. But then to stop insisting on it, stop trying to fix it, just let it pass. It's just lies and conditioning and habits. Habits of the mind. And in that space of relaxation, to learn how to take action if in you that was sort of suppressed or even prohibited as a child. Sort of to unlearn the inertia that I used to protect myself. To unlearn the conditioning that it's dangerous to imagine, to expand. So I suppose it's a bit like tricky. It's very subtle because it's not about, you don't want to be filling the space with more doing in order to protect yourself against falling back into bad habits. That's more of the same. It's about showing up. Maybe incrementally, little by little, just keeping on increasing your capacity, imagining something better, appreciating what you have now. That's even easier, because that's just being with what is. That's your divine inheritance. But there's also a way in which you can help the process of your expansion by imagining and taking inspired action towards what you believe in. That's happening in and of itself once you realize the truth and take responsibility. And in a sense, it can't be rushed. It can only be unrushed. It's the paradox. Yeah, to cultivate that, the idea that every day is a holiday. Every day is your vacation. And it's not about necessarily creating the appearance of holiday in your life. It's a frequency of ease and relaxation. Allowing yourself to be in a spirit of curiosity. Being nice to yourself. Being kind to yourself. So I'll make a quick mention of what I offer, which is mirror sessions to help you, like I have, start unpacking the limiting beliefs you have about yourself. This is another reason for the stop healing and start living, is that I deeply know that so many spiritual practices, having been through so many of them for so many decades, will come to nothing if you don't first look at what you're believing about yourself. Is it simply that? There's no separation between your beliefs and what appears in your life. It's very dispassionate in a way. It's a mechanism. It's the law. It's why complaining about things is just so fruitless. Or trying to make things happen, as opposed to allow things to unfold. Because it's consciousness is this matrix. It's self-realizing self. It's awesome in its simplicity. It is utterly flawless in it does what it does. You will receive what you believe about yourself and all the rest of the unknowable world, which is, God, spirit, consciousness, not as separate from you, but just this. You can never possibly know what the fuck? All you can really know and cultivate, which is the same as not knowing anything, but it's like, it just is. It's doing itself, and yeah. So yeah, if you like to, it's kind of like going back deeper into what you believe about yourself. That's the liberation, because once you can see that you're creating it by what you believe, you don't need to know the details of it, but you just know that that's a knowing. Then you can, just the seeing of it starts to dissolve it. In fact, that's the only thing that dissolves it. But you can also, with skill, choose for yourself more efficiently. So yeah, I help people with that. And through conscious mentoring, if you want to really go deep, to co-create with me a different version of yourself. I invite you in my world of possibility and potential, and show you that you are not only welcome there, but it's not really, I merge my field with yours because I don't want it to sound like I'm giving you something. I'm inviting you into our potential, which is about your potential. But that's how it works. And I can help you expand your nervous system, support your conviction in your own ordinary greatness. It's all you need. It's all you've ever needed. And it's all there is. So if you're done with floundering around in the world of healing and belief in lack, and just being really inefficient, kind of just turning your back on your own joy, beyond your circumstances, but in your being. If you're already ready and know that this is possible for you, and it excites you, then we can jump in the void together and see what's possible. So my website is coolingmoney.com. I'll leave a link in the description, and you can find out about what I offer there. But yeah, today I'm going to try, but it's about not trying. I'm going to bask in being free and under no obligation. And happy to receive the sun, the beautiful cool air in the mountains, and who knows what. But I invite you, and I hope you can live in the frequency of eternal holiday, vacation, as you show up in life today. Take care. Bye for now.